Hey, my name is Sarah Segar. I'm from Experiential Learning Depot, and I want to talk about worksheets. I want you to ask yourself a really honest question. If you're doing worksheets, are they really working for what you want them to work for? Are your students engaged? Are they motivated? Are they passionate about learning? Are they retaining any of the information that these worksheets are supposedly teaching them or providing? My guess is that they're not. I have asked myself this question in the past and really answering and digging deep into this question, into the answer to these questions of are they working? Are worksheets working for what I want them to be working for? The answer was no. And so for the last 16 years, I have not been doing worksheets, and I'm going to talk about why and what you can do instead. So let's talk about the real issue with worksheets. One of the biggest issues with worksheets is that they're passive. Students are just filling in the blanks, following instructions, checking boxes. There's no active learning happening. It's a one-way street with no room for exploration, creativity, or engagement. They're a one-size-fits-all approach that it just doesn't fit everybody. Whether you're a visual learner, an auditory learner, or someone who needs to move around to focus, worksheets treat every student the same way. And here's the thing, nowhere outside of school do we really use worksheets. They don't really have a place in our work life, our personal life, our family life. So why are we using them to prepare students for their futures? Worksheets are disconnected from the real world. They don't help students see the bigger picture or understand the purpose behind what they're doing. And without that purpose, it's really hard for students to stay engaged. Worksheets lack meaning and relevance, and often even the ability to connect with the content in a deep way. Students don't find these worksheets relatable. And it's not just that worksheets are boring. I don't want to do them, but they don't inspire. They don't make students feel like, wow, this is really exciting and this actually matters. There's no spark or passion for learning when it comes to worksheets. You've just never heard anybody say that. And finally, worksheets train students for careers of the past, jobs that were more about following instructions and checking boxes than they were about thinking critically or problem solving. But that's just not the world we live in anymore. The future is about adaptability and creativity and real-world skills. Worksheets aren't setting students up for success in a fast-evolving world. They're keeping students stuck in the past. If we want to prepare our students for the future, we need to rethink how we teach. It's time for learning to be real, relevant, and engaging. It's time for a shift away from worksheets and towards methods that get students thinking, questioning, and really connecting with what they're learning. Okay, fine. So there's issues with worksheets, but what do we do instead? There are lots of justifications for using worksheets. So let's break down what those common reasons teachers and parents have or use to defend the use of worksheets, which I am guilty of most of them, and some alternatives that can actually make learning stick. The alternatives are experiential. So, worksheets are for content review. This is a super common justification for using worksheets. Sure, worksheets can help reinforce what students learn, but here's the problem. If the content isn't tied to real-life applications or something meaningful to the student, it won't be remembered long-term. Even with repetition, they're likely to forget it after the test. So what do you do instead? Get students involved in real-world activities like a hands-on experiment. Let them experience the content in action. That's how you make it memorable, by connecting it to the real world, by making it relevant, by making it interesting. And you can do that through discussion. It can be a scavenger hunt. It can be all kinds of things that aren't worksheets. Worksheets give students practice. Okay. While worksheets do give students practice, it's often just memorization. And if they're practicing the wrong things, it only reinforces these misunderstandings. So what to do instead? Turn practice into an experience. Have students solve real problems, engage in projects, or do minds-on activities that deepen their understanding and build critical life skills. Sometimes kids have to do things they don't want to do. That's life. I've said this to kids, adults have said this to me as a kid, and it really just doesn't resonate. It's true life can be tough, but worksheets aren't preparing them for real-world challenges. They won't encounter many situations where they're asked to sit down and fill out a worksheet. So what is a great alternative is to encourage life skills like responsibility through student-driven projects, or experiences that offer trial and error like design thinking or real-world problem solving. That's where real learning happens, through real struggles and real setbacks. Having to do a worksheet is not a real struggle. That's not a struggle they're going to confront in their lives in the future. Connect their learning to real situations of struggle and obstacle and setbacks. Okay, this is a big one, and this I have said and felt over and over and over again, that worksheets are quick and easy. Yes, this is a real valid justification for using a worksheet. I often want to default to worksheets because I'm exhausted. Teacher burnout is real, and sometimes you need a breather. But worksheets don't have to be the go-to solution. Try student-directed activities that give you a break, but also encourage deeper learning. It's a win-win. Your students take on a large part of your exhaustion by coordinating and leading learning experiences on their own. You might be thinking that sounds like pure chaos, but if you want to learn more about student-led learning, you'll learn from me that it's not chaos. It's quite structured, and I have a lot of information about this on my blog. I have a course about it. I'll put some links in the description of this video. In other words, instead of worksheets, create opportunities for students to engage, explore, and experience learning. The world is changing, and so should the way we teach. Worksheets are a thing of the past. And I will say that over and over and over again. We are in the 21st century, and our learners are 21st century learners. We need to meet them halfway. Now, I get it. You're stretched. And I'm not saying toss your whole curriculum in the trash. Here's one small shift you can try tomorrow. Swap a worksheet for a mini experience. Instead of a worksheet on ecosystems, for example, take students outside for a nature walk. Have them observe and identify examples of the concepts that they just learned in action out in nature. Instead of a worksheet, have students participate in a quick interactive group discussion or a short creative project where they apply the concepts. Or instead of a worksheet on math drills, swap it for a real-world challenge like planning a trip on a budget. Many of these experiences are still fast. They still help students see the why, still help them not only understand the content, but retain it and help them confront real challenges. They're meaningful. Students are actively engaged, and they are thinking in a new way, and that's where the magic starts. If this sparked something for you and you're ready to make more of these types of shifts, these experiential shifts, without overhauling everything or getting exhausted or reinventing the wheel, grab my free Experiential Learning Playbook. It's a great way to get started. The link is in the description. I'll walk you through how to take what you're already doing and give it more purpose, meaning, and relevance, really without it sacrificing your entire day or your entire evening with your family or your health or working out or taking a rest or binge watching. None of that has to happen. You don't have to sacrifice your life to shift away from worksheets, I promise, and this playbook will help. So go grab that. It's free. It's in the description, and we will see you in the next video. No more worksheets.